That to me is surprising.
And you should expect that number to be even higher.
We're only going to see this number go up.
What we're looking for here, 100%.
I was expecting that number to be much lower.
Hi, my name is Kevin Bocek, Vice President of Ecosystem and Community at Venafi.
My name is Matt Barker. I'm Global Head of Cloud Native at Venafi.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sitaram Iyer. I'm a Senior Director of Cloud Native Solutions at Venafi.
Venafi has just released the State of Cloud Native Security Report.
I'm going to be looking at the results of an independent survey that we did with over 800 security and IT leaders.
I'd like to share with you my insights into the Cloud Native Security Report. What did I find interesting? Provide you some more context, and where should we head to after reading the research?
Number of companies here are saying that machine identity management has become the foundation of cloud native security, with 88% believing it's essential to the success of zero trust models.
In the research, 84% of respondents said that Kubernetes will be the main platform that their organizations use to develop all applications.
And that's pretty darn high. It is honestly unimaginable to me, for someone who's actually been in the Kubernetes space since the day it was open sourced, that we're not going to see Kubernetes continue to grow and just increase in importance. I mean, from my standpoint, it's already there. You're going to build an application today in the cloud. What else would you build it on?
I think many of us have thought of Kubernetes as the operating system for the cloud generation. And it's been part of our strategic planning assumption that you and organizations just like you will be building. Every application will have some part of it built, run, deployed on Kubernetes. That's the standard, that's the default from now and to the future.
From a business value perspective, when people think containerizing their applications, when people think we want to build and have a microservices-based architecture, they have made a natural choice for essentially hosting and running all of those aspects of applications in Kubernetes. So that essentially has been the general adoption that we are seeing, the growth of Kubernetes as a platform to host these applications, whether it is in a managed Kubernetes environment that the organizations are leveraging through a cloud provider, or something that they run on their own within their data center. Irrespective of that, Kubernetes definitely is something that we are already seeing hugely adopted within the organization and will continue to trend up.
59% of respondents said they were honest that their organizations had already experienced security issues with Kubernetes and also their container environments, whether running out in the cloud or in their data centers.
If you think about Kubernetes and cloud native, you start to realize that people struggle with Kubernetes. Kubernetes, especially when you combine it with a service mesh and possibly in multiple cloud environments and various different services, it's not that surprising. People are getting to Kubernetes, they're installing it, and they're struggling against that complexity. And possibly that's leading to security issues.
As security teams, as platform teams bring more and more visibility into these risks, we're only going to see this number go up. That doesn't mean that we're not doing as good a job. In fact, actually, by having greater visibility, by actually seeing this number go up, it says, hey, we're coming to grips with the issues. And we've seen this out publicly. We've seen Microsoft has issues, GitHub have issues. All of these are symptomatic of challenges our own organizations are facing. So expect this number to go up, but actually, we should see that as a good thing as organizations get greater visibility, greater observability into the security issues that they're really facing.
We're only really just starting to see how the scale of Kubernetes is starting to affect that complexity and how that's having an impact on security. I think the other thing that we're starting to see is the defaults when you're actually installing Kubernetes tend to be less secure by default. So if you're not someone who's particularly experienced in using Kubernetes or you're installing it for the first time, there may be a few issues that you're leaving uncovered by installing it or configuring it in the wrong way. And that's why I would suggest it's always very useful to have someone with experience to help guide you through the process of making sure that it's secured as part of the install process. I think the other thing as well is that a lot of the deployment of Kubernetes is happening within a slightly different persona than we've traditionally seen in enterprises, where it's been delivered and built by central IT teams. In a lot of cases, we're seeing developers creating Kubernetes environments to help them go faster, and that's turning into what we're calling platform engineering teams. And they're largely able to use a lot of the tooling and software that they need to be able to create whole Kubernetes environments that enable them to do most of what they need to do. But what's happening is they're doing that largely, well, not always the case, but they're doing it without the interaction and engagement of the central InfoSec teams, so the security teams. And there is not a particularly well-defined pattern on how to think about creating a relationship with a security team that enables you to be able to secure Kubernetes in a consistent way. We're also starting to see security teams see Kubernetes in their environments, but they're still trying to get their head around what Kubernetes is. They're trying to learn about it. They're trying to upskill in the area. And I wouldn't say it's a particularly well understood part of the InfoSec's knowledge base at this moment. For that reason, that's platform teams going off and doing a lot of work themselves to implement security practices, not getting the support from security teams because they're less knowledgeable and they're not quite as skilled as dealing with it yet. I think that's leading to gaps and holes, and the complexity obviously adds to this, and that's why we're starting to see those issues when we hear that 59% of respondents are actually experiencing security-related issues.
69% believe that when moving to cloud, they dragged a lot of old security problems with them. Traditional security controls that organizations have used don't really fit well in today's cloud-native environment. In a traditional world, security professionals are used to managing pets. I mean, there's this notion of cattle versus pets. So they are very well aware of how to manage pets. Cloud-native world is all about cattle. So every bit of infrastructure is ephemeral, whether it is a container that is bootstrapped to a pod, or the node that is part of a cluster, or cluster itself that can simply be destroyed and rebuilt in a matter of minutes. So traditional security is all about perimeter. Such a thing is almost impossible to define in a cloud-native world. It is pointless for a workload to be associated with a long-lived TLS certificate when a workload itself may be destroyed and redeployed in a few hours or days. So lack of automation across the entire pipeline is another problem. We have heard many times from platform teams that operate Kubernetes that they still have to deal with the process of requesting, waiting for a TLS identity for workloads that sometimes could take forever. So these are some of the challenges that you can think through.
I've thoroughly enjoyed learning from you, reading the state of cloud native security research. So go check out the research at venafi.com. Not only will you find the full report, but you'll find an infographic that you can share with your colleagues to share, where are the opportunities? Where are we challenged in using cloud native technologies? How can we benchmark our organizations? All of it and more at venafi.com.